So it's been a while. Anyway, whatever. Let's get to, oh, here comes another airplane. Wow, those things are they just won't stop. I was using that as an excuse too, why not to do videos. Like, I can't do video now because too many airplanes fly over, but I'm thinking, I don't even care. If you hear the video and you can't hear me, I'll get closer. I don't know what else to do. Just give up, not do them, you know. I can say not do them for another 52 days, that's fine with me. I don't really care, I don't get much out of it. People are like, oh, you do them for this, and you do them for that, and you do them for this. I do them for fun. I do them for fun. You don't get that? I just do them for fun. Why am I sharing all this crap with everybody in the world when all they do is they just pull it off? I see things all over the place that people then, I say something, and then somebody, I said one day, Manson is Dracula. It wasn't very long that there was a book called Manson is Dracula. I'm like, where'd you get that idea from? People do it all the time. I don't care about that. If I did, how would you think I would let this stuff out of lock and key? No way. Anyway, I was gonna do a video about Cappy, remember? And this is some letters where Manson's talking somewhat about Cappy, about cards, about how to cheat in poker, and he's all over the place, like I am. That's why I liked him so much. I liked him so much because he was so good with words. Man, he could just tell people what they wanted to hear. I love that about him, and I wanted to learn from him. You know, he was like a teacher. He was almost a professor. And he taught me things that I could use in my own life. That's the reason I really liked Manson. And the reason I really share stuff on here is because I think it's fun. And I think that other people find it interesting. They want to know too. They wish they were able to get in my shoes where they could get letters and they could read them. So, hey, man, now I'm giving you the opportunity to be in my shoes. That's what the back porch is, I guess. Because I sat and thought, what in the heck is this back porch even about? Is it about coming on here and picking on people like, whoa? Well, yeah, I was showing you those letters that were, there's Cappy in that one. And there she is there. They're cool pictures. It's pretty cool that they're on Manson's letters, but that one is too. See, that's where he's telling me how to cheat in poker. And he also tells the colors of like the girl. And he says Cappy is silver, and she's the gold girl, and she's baby blue. Pretty cool. We'll get into that later when I start talking about the thing I was doing on Cappy. Cause I had a whole bunch of stuff up, you know, already made up and ready to go. I just got. Is it about coming on here and picking on people like Tweaker Jones? Nah, he can pick on himself. He does that enough, and he's like, first off, I can't even watch. To be honest with you, I didn't watch that. I never watched that. I don't have Peacock. I'm not ordering Peacock. I don't want Peacock. A lot of people offered it to me for free. I don't want Peacock. I'm just not watching it. It's fine with me. But I can't get over the fact that how much he dyed his hair black. I mean, it's like, whoa, that's some black hair, man. It's like, whoa. I can't get past the black hair. Okay, today, 52 days later, what are we going to talk about today? And that's what I was thinking about. What are we going to talk about today? We had fires here in Los Angeles. We can talk about some of that has to do with Spahn Ranch. Because I got some stuff out of George Spahn's house that actually burned up in the fire. We can look at that. Well, we will look at that, as a matter of fact. Last year, you know, 52 days ago was last year. Last year, we were talking about how people die in threes. Remember that? And a lot of people chimed in to say, wow, man, my grandmother told me the same thing, or my mom told me the same thing, or I believe the same thing, that people die in threes. I certainly believe that. I know that for sure. So when those two people died last year that were closely related to Charles Manson, Matthew, you remember him? The son, or the so-called son of Charles Manson, and the reporter that all she ever did out throughout her life was report on Charles Manson. Two people. And then I kept thinking, damn, there's going to be another third person. Hope it ain't me. Talking about a guy. The third guy who died. It was the guy who wrote this book. He was really famous in Manson's life. I mean, all the way up until the end. He was 92 years old. His name's Emmett Harder. And I got a book signed by him. And he was a miner in Death Valley. And he was around when Manson gave up the album to Barker to live at the ranch, you know. He gave up the gold album from the Beach Boys. Emmett was there. Emmett was there for a lot of stuff. Emmett was there even up until, you know, even later on. Even people like Stoner met Emmett, you know, so. But he died, 92 years old. 92 years old. And he was still going up into Death Valley, well up into his, probably well up into his late 80s. Just a good old guy. One of them good old guys with a lot of information, and now all the information died. You can still get some of it through his books, you know, but you'll never get him to sign them again. And people die in threes. You can trust that. Oh, I've got some more stuff here. Let's get into this. I got some cool
There's
stuff.
Emmett's signature. And here, this is something cool in this book. Emmett had that picture. That's where the picture came from of Manson and that that other miner. Well, here's a picture of Manson and that other miner too. Manson signed this picture. But that came out of Emmett's book, really. And Manson wrote on the back of it too.
Okay, let's get to this fire. I dug some stuff up over time, just as well as a lot of other people did, I mean. But this is from Spahn Ranch, and you can still see the remnants of the fire on it. And it's a fan that was in George's house. And what's kind of unique about this fan blade, the thing's made out of metal. Can you imagine? And it's kind of sharp on the edges, so, you know, people probably, it's kind of dangerous when it's going over your head, you know? But it's metal, you know, it's dug up underneath George's house. And it's a fan blade. Pretty cool, huh? Now I've got some other stuff in a box over here. So I got a box of stuff here that is, I know, from the Spahn Ranch fire. And I know it's from the Spahn Ranch fire because I dug it up underneath the George Spahn's house. And it's got fire damage to it. So we're going to check this out. First thing is pieces of wood that were from Spahn Ranch. I cut them up, made a frame out of them. But we'll get real close so that you can look at the wood and you can look at the fire damage on this stuff.
Look at some of that fire damage. That's the old wood. I found that feather over at Spahn Ranch too. But look at that old wood. You're gonna get a lot of moisture here in California, so the dirt at Spahn Ranch, it's a dirt that if you've ever been there, you know, but if you haven't, the only way I can explain the dirt to you is it's so dry when you're walking on it, like on the hillside. It's like walking on powdered sugar. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like walking on powdered sugar. And it's really, really slippery. But it keeps all this stuff exposed underneath the ground, and almost like for how many years was it underneath the ground? It didn't rot away because there's no water there. Or what water there is, little water there is, it just drains right off. But I made that picture frame out of that. Pretty cool, huh? I don't know what I would sell that for if I sold it, but it'd be a pretty little penny because this wood is hard. Really, really, really hard to find. I mean, especially with the paint still on it. Check that out. It's got the paint. I love this kind of stuff. And there's remnants of that fire right there too on the side. Those are the only pieces of wood that I found over there. Check this one out. This one still has paint on it, and it has a green paint. A very little bit. You can tell it was painted over. The white was painted over with green at one point. There is, I mean, wood does rot over there, actually, as you can see, because this is rotted. But still, even to this day, on my fingers is leaving this charcoaly stuff from this fire damage thing. Here's another piece here. That, see, it's a little more, the surface of it's gone. The only paint that's really left was right there. But this one's pretty cool. Or like this. Part of the building at Spahn Ranch. Like the fires the other day that we had here. There isn't even this much left of the buildings from the fire the other day. Some of them gone totally. So to even have this much left of, you know, what was Spahn Ranch, that's pretty rare. And again, I like this kind of stuff, so no, I don't want to sell it to nobody. I am the Smithsonian of man.
I have some other stuff from the fire too. Here's an interesting fact about the fire that burned down Spahn Ranch. If I would have been standing here when that fire was happening, right here in the spot, I'd be burned up. Right down the street is what ignited the weeds that started the fire that burned down Spahn Ranch. I investigated this whole thing because Manson told me that he thought the district attorney, you know, did it to cover up some evidence that turned up missing later on. And we'll talk about the evidence that turned up missing later on, but it wasn't from the fire. The fire started right down the street here, and I'll show you one day where it started at. And it came this direction, it went that direction, it went that direction, and it went through the mountains all the way down like the other one did the other day. All the way down to Panga, all the way through Chatsworth. It went all the way to Malibu at that point too. That fire burned to Malibu too. And Spahn Ranch was one of the victims of that. It was huge. It was a huge fire. Started here in Newhall, all the way to Malibu. And that's a long ways. To get in the car and drive that would be like 45 minutes, 55 minutes to an hour. So, took up a lot of land. And it wasn't some conspiracy fire to burn down Spahn Ranch. But I got some more stuff from Spahn Ranch. This is really cool. And if you've seen any pictures of the last fire where they're showing them on TV of things, when cars start to get really hot, they start to drip, the metal starts dripping on the ground, and it starts running like water across the ground. You don't want to touch it because it would just scald your fingers. It would just be bones. But after it dries, it shows like the pattern, you know, where it dripped and ran all across the ground. And I dug this up from underneath the ground, where this was at one point laying on top of the ground at Spahn Ranch, and one of the vehicles was dripping hot, molten. It could have been that truck that said Spahn Ranch, who knows? But this is part of one of them. Here, I'll show you up close.
And check that out. That's pretty cool, huh? That's dripping hot, molten steel onto the ground at Spahn Ranch, and then it's running. They call this, that's kind of a flat part, so it was like laying on some sort of cement right there as it came. It looks almost like the pattern of cement, so it was laying on some sort of cement as it dripped. And then this is the side that was more drippy. and it runs like that. So it's laying on the ground like this. Almost looks like a snake, huh? They call this because it makes a pattern and a design that's like rare. So you put this in a frame, and this is what they would call California fire art, because the fire created it. So it's a piece of Spahn Ranch, because it was from Spahn Ranch, California fire art. And this is rare. I had like 6 or so pieces of this. I don't know what happened to them all, though. I can only find this one today. But this stuff is so rare and so cool. Again, more stuff I like. More about the history of Spahn Ranch that you get to see. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I got a couple more things from this fire too at Spahn, and I think these came out of George's house. And this is what you see, people digging through the remnants of the fire. They try to find things later on that might remind them of something. This is really cool, because again, it was out of George's house, and it shows the fire, the remnants of the fire really well. I'll show you this up close too. So let's. Okay, it's some sort of like piano, and I don't know if it comes across on camera or not, but this is pink. They're sort of pink. I mean, it's hard to see in here in person too. But that stuff on it, that's burned into it. See? That's burned into it too. It's of course broken. Not the whole piano, it's just this little piece. But look at that stuff. That's remnants of probably pieces of like the dirt. I don't know, I don't know. Things from the fire, because it's burned into this. It does not come off. I mean, it's not burned into, it's embedded into it. Like this got so hot that it just fell down and broke and rolled around in the ashes maybe. I don't know, but that's all across there. And it's kind of like sandy, almost like sandpaper it feels like. But it was part of a piano or something. Somebody probably recognizes that, what it was at one point. Maybe they had one or something. But this was in George's house, George Spahn's, and that's what left after the fire. So I had a couple other pieces in here that are here. I want to show them to you up close too. This is, and I actually mark the stuff where it came from, so that's what these little tags are. It's just telling where I got it, like 1990 from George Spahn's house. And it's a piece of a house plate, and this is George Spahn's house, 1990, and it's the toilet, part of the toilet anyway. It's not a whole toilet. But let's look at these up close too. And you can see the fire damage on both of these as well. Okay, this is part of the toilet. I want to be kind of careful with this though, because it's still got dirt in it. Check that out. It's like dirt that still has pieces of burnt in the dirt. Burnt in the dirt. It's got burnt in the dirt. Looks like an old grave, huh? Like an old crypt. But it's still got burnt in the dirt. So I even got like spider web in there. So I don't really want to, jerk it around too much, but it's part of the toilet. And you can see the damage from the fire on that. From the underneath side probably burning up. There's the lid right here. It's kind of white right there. Then I have a label. And on top part of it, the burned as well. But you can kind of, like, looking in there, you can kind of see what it was like under the ground at Spahn Ranch. Still pieces of dirt in there and everything. That's cool. That's really cool. I'm impressing myself here. Okay, let's move on to the plate. Wow, that's cool. I gotta make sure I keep that. Okay, this is the plate. And you can see it's burnt too on the back. And see the edges. It doesn't look like the edges are burnt. Like it fell down and broke maybe. But this part is. Part's definitely burnt. And probably underneath the label somewhere. And there's the front of it. It's pretty big, as you can see by my hand. It's a pretty nice piece. You could actually frame this too. Put a little label on the bottom of it. But it goes back in my box. Sorry. Just wanted to take it out and show it to you. Because these are some of them pieces that people are climbing through the rubble right now, trying to recover things that they remember. It's like, oh wow, Grandma gave me that plate. If I could show this to George, maybe, or somebody in the Manson family, maybe they remember, wow, I remember eating off those plates at George's. So, oh, I got something for you. Okay, I got something for you here. I got something that I need you to figure out, because I can't figure it out. This came from underneath George's house too, okay? And it's a little piece of pottery that was handmade by somebody. You can tell it looked like a little leaf or something. It's broken in half, sort of. But it's got somebody's name carved in the back of it. And maybe you could figure it out. I don't know. And then you can tell me. Here, I'll show you really close up. This is it. See? Oh, it's like almost hand carved in there. It says Bev. And it was in George's house. I don't know if it's an ashtray or what. Kind of looks like it was a leaf or something. Looks like it was handmade almost. And of course it looks like it's handmade because it has somebody's name on the back. Bev. You know who Bev is? Let me know. So it's been a while. Not really. If you were a true fan, you know it's not been that long because I've posted every single day. Almost every day for the last 52 days. Never missed. Well, I did miss a few days because YouTube, I don't know why, but YouTube, they don't like certain words, man. When you say certain words, it really sets YouTube off. And they're like, nope, I ain't putting that on here. So, I missed a few days because YouTube just refused to put down what I was putting down. But for the most part, been here for the last 52 days, and if you really want to see any of that stuff, I got into I wrote about these birds that I thought should be arrested. Because I've been, for the last 50 some days, I've been really watching the birds. Because I have bird friends, yeah. We talk about them in the comments, so if you want to read about any of that crap for the last 52 days, go down there. And I was thinking about a video to do, and I've got a couple videos to do. It's not like I'm lost for videos to do. I've got all kinds of videos, all kinds of ideas, everything, and it's just like sometimes you just get lazy. And actually I was lazy. So I kept counting the days. It's like, oh man, it's 2 days since I did a video. And now it's 52 days. So time keeps slipping away on everybody here. But again, if you want to read anything about the last 52 days that I did, go into the comments, because I wrote about just about everything that I was thinking about every one of those days. And now, today, so if you know who Bev is, that'd be cool. Maybe worth more. I'm not selling it anyway. Again, I collect this crap. I collect this crap so I can come on here and I can show you this crap. So if you're happy with this crap and you like watching this crap, come on back, I got more crap. And until then, peace.